Hello, everyone, and welcome to session 133 of Pokerole. We are returning once more, finally back on schedule to our game, and returning right before Halloween, too, which might possibly influence the game, I have a feeling. But before we begin fully, of course, if you like the video, do think about giving it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can think about doing that as well. But if you really want to help out, think about coming over to Twitch, as we're trying to reach partner, but need more viewers to do it. So if you want to come by, whether to lurk or to talk, think about doing so, as it does help out immensely. And honestly, we'd love to have you. We also have a pretty cool Discord community if you want to check that out, and there is a Pokerole sub-community off of that for the focus of this game that you can check out. I have a coffee link if you want to help directly monetize my content, and I have a merch store if you want to buy some cool stuff. Links in the description, you can check them out at your leisure, and of course, in addition, you can also find the link to our Poke Pioneers Mirahis now wiki that we have. Largely helmed by Enyo, but also other people as well. We have recaps and everything if you want to catch up on stuff you haven't watched, character bios, etc. Check it out if you're interested. But that being said, hi guys are on the table. I didn't ask on video, so I'll just say again, how is everybody's day going?
It's been pretty good.
I'm doing quite alright now that I'm here.
Hell yeah. I had a super nice nap, and a person who I am helping with a VR chat avatar finally got with me, and I asked them to draw on their current avatar in MS Paint to hatch out exactly, and I got a pretty good idea.
That's good.
Nice.
Well, I presume quite a bit happened last session. We got through quite a bit on our inaugural session back from hiatus. Lots of events occurred, and we are just beginning to explore. What is it called again? Where we're at?
Well, welcome to the Derelict Estate.
Yes.
And just in case you've forgotten, I did leave us a title for this session.
I did forget that. What was the title again?
Today's session is Derelict Delusions.
Spooky.
Without further ado, allow me to recap people on what happened last time. Last time was session 131, The Trip Vine-tastic. The following morning, Ralph is first to wake up, feeling multiple Pokemon resting against him. He recognizes and understands why Mawile will be sleeping next to him, and knows his Lyre resting against him as well, which is fair, but also sees a small group of 5 Poochyena curled up and resting next to him as well. Confused, he tries to gently wake them up and ask what they are doing. The Poochyena answer that, since their leader has been defeated, the 5 don't have anywhere else to go, and no idea what to do, considering how much control Corpsefang had exerted over the pack. Ralph asks if the Poochyena can't remain in their old base, or even just strike out on their own, neither of which seeming to have come to their minds at all. Mawile wakes up from the commotion and, seeing the Poochyena and hearing Ralph joke that the two of them now have new pets, Mawile insists that they would not be keeping them as pets. She then tries to shoo the Poochyena away with little avail. Rya is next to wake, and immediately checks on Lyre, who is also woken up and moved away from Ralph's tent after seeing one of the Poochyena staring at them hungrily. Mawile explains to Rya that, after the events of last night, Lyre was too nervous to be separated from Mawile and insisted to stay in there in Ralph's tent that night. Lyre also notices the new scythe that Rya had received and is immediately intimidated, but Rya tries to comfort them by saying that they didn't intend to use it too much. I smell an unintended lie. Brooke wakes up and decides to wait by the campfire. Tucker, meanwhile, wakes up after having slept away from the camp and decides to make their way back to the others and sit next to Brooke to watch what was currently occurring with him. Brooke looks over Tucker's new appearance and remarks how surprising it was they were able to evolve without using the Cave of Mirrors, which Tucker agrees was a surprise, but a welcome one. Tucker asks if Brooke had any plans as to what to do with the Poochyena, to which Brooke answers that he wouldn't feel right bossing them around, and ponders letting them just figure things out on their own, like the Salandit did after the defeat of Salazzle. V chimes in, remarking on how leaving them on their own probably wouldn't be a good idea, seeing as their previous leader probably didn't give good advice on how to behave, to say the least. They suggest that Tucker could possibly stay to instruct them on what to do, if Tucker would be willing to stay out in the prairie for a while. Tucker does acknowledge that at the very least, he could still probably give them better advice as a pack leader while they are in the prairie than Corpsefang did, which Brooke agrees with and V can also agree with, seeing the state of the Poochyena now that their leader is gone. Meanwhile, Ralph gives the Poochyena the idea of being a rescue team like them. This confuses the Poochyena, who begin asking a barrage of questions such as how helping people would let them get food, or if they could eat the people they helped. What's helping people? Is that a food? After trying to answer a few of them, Ralph ponders directing them towards Savantown to ask Pangoro, before Rida promptly reminds them how bad that would be with the inspector around. Tucker decides to approach at this point, and immediately gets the attention of all the Poochyena, who seem to recognize them and refer to them as the Flower. Tucker tells the Poochyena that, while he's in the prairie, he will be willing to give advice to the Poochyena as long as they make sure not to grow up to act like Corpsefang did. The Poochyena respond that they don't exactly need advice on hunting or anything, nor do they intend to act as cruelly as their tyrant of a leader did, but they are mostly concerned about something strong finding them and want someone around to defend them until they can feel comfortable sustaining themselves. They also seem confused as the group talks to them about working together as a team without some form of leader giving them orders like Corpsefang had, which the team decides they will help teach them about, along with how to act more like a proper leader than their last one. The team also ponders over letting the Pride of Pyro know about how Corpsefang had been defeated, hoping that development would lead to less antagonistic relations between them and the Scavengers, which Moel agrees would be a good idea due to Corpsefang's leadership leading to most of the problems that nearby settlements had regarding the group. While this conversation is ongoing, Rida decides to walk away from the camp for an opportunity to practice with the scythe. After that, they sit and think for a bit, pondering over the mission Adonatus gave them, and if defeating Corpsefang really did extend the deadline as promised. Once everything is in order, Rida returns to the group. They resume traveling through the prairie. With the addition of the 5 Poochyena and trying to teach them on how to act, the party travels a smaller distance than the previous day. As they walk, they look at the surroundings and recall their past travels through the prairie again, as they experience senses of nostalgia. Brooke also notices a small group of Poniard who seem to receive a message from a Pokemon before changing direction northwest, and decides to keep that unusual behavior in mind. Soon, the party arrives at the abandoned estate, the destination V had asked the team to escort them to. Everyone can see a large mansion surrounded by an overgrown garden with grass and bushes that look to have been brought from other continents. V excitedly leads the party into the estate, with everyone having varying levels of excitement to check out another abandoned mansion, even though it looks nothing like the previous one you guys went through. As they all traverse the garden, Brooke spots indication of other Pokemon having been in the area, and lets everyone know to stay on their guard. Tucker is also able to identify some berry bushes among the foliage, though a lot of the overgrown weeds have left a lot of the berry bushes in poor condition, only having a few berries on them, which Tucker stores for later. Soon, the team noticed rustling among the bushes, confirming Brooke's suspicions, though the amount of foliage obscures any trace of what their species could be. Tucker asks V if they would be fine with the party cutting through the garden to make it easier to traverse, and as they allow the party to do so, they are pulled away into the bushes by vines.
Really?
I like to think I did a good job of voice acting last time. V was a lot of fun.
Yes.
He generally is.
If you want to hear all the commentary that V made, you should watch the last episode, everybody. Plug.
Mm.
The team quickly follows through, tearing and slashing through the plants that bar their way as they follow the sound of V screaming and swearing. Eventually, they find V's captors, a trio of Tangela along with a Tangrowth who attack the party. The excessive foliage in the area makes it harder to target the grassy Pokemon, but the party is eventually able to separate the vine holding V. And Brooke and Tucker are able to cause the team to have more advantage by freezing the Tangrowth, as well as one of the Tangela. Further, while using Metronome, Ralph uses Fire Pledge, which sets a lot of the surrounding plant life ablaze, damaging the remaining fighting Tangela as well as threatening the team. As the battle rages on, the frozen opponents eventually thaw out, and are still able to withstand most of the party's physical attacks. Tucker, noticing all of the shadows flickering around caused by the fire, gets the opportunity to move V to a safer location using Shadow Sync, seeing that V wasn't exactly doing a great job at defending themselves after falling on the opposite side of the foes to the party. With V no longer in the line of fire, the team is able to start using projectile attacks, which do a much better job at damaging the durable grass types. With one last ice gun, Brooke is able to finish off the grass types, rendering them all frozen statues, as well as putting out the rest of the fire in the surroundings. V thanks the team for their assistance, and quickly resumes trying to explore the estate. The party gets closer towards the front entrance of the mansion. Ralph spots a gardening shed, and decides to examine it quickly before the team progresses further, where they are ambushed by a Sandaconda. Ralph attempts to calm it down and explain he means no harm, which seems to work to some degree as it goes back into the ground. Presuming it is using the shed as a nest of sorts, Ralph decides to rejoin the others in front of the mansion, and they all enter the building. The building remains well furnished, though covered with dust, suggesting little effort had been made to retrieve a lot of the old items in the building before now. As the team explores, however, they do spot some traces of spots where areas have notably less dust, suggesting that there was still a little bit of looting in the area, which makes me worry most of the useful stuff has been taken already. Brooke asks for confirmation as to what exactly V is hoping to find here, to which V explains that anything that could make the cafe look fancier would suffice. The party begins checking for good-looking furniture or other potential remaining valuables. Tucker finds a porcelain figurine of a Dragonite in a nearby study, which they're able to gently grab and place in their bag. After doing so, they decide to try the berries they had found in the garden, and, as they do, ponder over how the mansion must have been like back when it was occupied. He hears familiar voices and recalls a familiar scent from his past, until he hears static. Rya chooses to investigate further in the building. As they do, they come across a kitchen and check the various items in the room, finding various cooking utensils. While they examine the kitchen, a memory comes to mind, though faint, of a time when they had entered a similar room in the past with a companion against the staff's wishes. Until they hear static. Ralph muses over an old painting of a fancy Scraggy, joking about possibly trying to get fancy attire like theirs and grow a splendid mustache. After joking around for a bit, they head towards the one room no one had chosen to investigate yet, leading to what looks to have been the bedroom of the master of the house. He checks for items of interest, and happens across a keyring holding 3 marked keys, 2 having faces on them, and the other being of a notably cruder make. This ends up reminding him of a keyring the security guard at his old line of work used to carry around, in a time when he'd taken them to explore around while not in his best state of mind. until he hears static. Brooke locates what looks to be an old piece of jewelry within a chest of drawers in the foyer before deciding to go the same direction right ahead. When he does, he hears a set of light footsteps, whose origin he could not determine. His wandering eventually leads him towards a terrace, where he is struck with the thought of how the courtyard outside must have looked in the past. Then he has memories of his old Totodile companion, and could swear he sensed them standing next to him, before hearing an odd sound and looking back towards the inside of the building, only to see a sight unlike where he'd been walking through minutes before. Welcome to the Derelict Estate.
Very nice, very nice.
Sadly, I don't have a map for you guys, but that probably wouldn't help you at all.
I wouldn't.
Given there was a floor teleportation out of nowhere, yeah, probably not.
But that is why I have the locations card.
Oh yes, that does exist. As received by the teleportation that Brooke did.
Pardon me as I fix that up.
Yeah, I just realized, like, wait, I came from the foyer too. like Tucker came from the foyer too.
Yeah, yo, all of you came from the foyer. I just failed to write that down for two of you.
That's fine. Curious how this will come into play, given how you've already structured it.
Just to give you guys an idea of the path that you took.
Mm-hmm.
Now then, who wants to go first?
We could always roll for it.
That sounds like a fun idea.
Leave it to chance. Alright, Chance. You got me, alright? Give me something new.
Well, I guess it's Tucker.
Alrighty.
Oh, spooky.
I'd say I'm sorry, Tucker, but also I'm kind of not.
It's fine. He's ready to go. So
Tucker's still in the old reading room. But when you hear static, it changes. Something about your vision, your senses, blurs. It's not so old anymore. From the armchair you're resting in, suddenly you see the fireplace, lit, warm. The scent of burning acacia reaching your nostrils where it was not there before. On the floor is a little Scrafty. They seem to be playing with a doll. And what's more, there's vaguer silhouettes that look like a pair of adult humans. They're faint. It looks like they're talking about something, but you can't hear them.
Enya raises a question. A Scrafty or a Screaky?
Which one's the evolution?
I think Scrafty's the evolution, right?
Oh, probably a Scraggy then. Hang on, let me look. It's the first stage.
Yeah, I figured, given the description. Okay, Scraggy then.
Yeah, Scrafty is the evolution, so it is a Scrafty in the painting that has the mustache, not a...
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a little Scraggy.
All right.
Thank you for calling that in.
Yeah, then thanks for the... I honestly mix those up too. Shall I go?
Yes, please.
Okay. Tucker will sit there for a moment, sort of taking in the situation and the change of everything. He continues to sit in the chair, observing and trying to focus on the silhouettes, though it's likely that doesn't make them any clearer before he does turn his attention to the little Scraggy. He takes a moment to consider if the berries he ate were perhaps not good to eat, but realizes that this seems a little too vivid for that.
Oh no. You're going on a trip, kid. But on the note of perceiving the silhouettes, go ahead and give me your insight survival alert, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. It's a lot of sixes, actually.
That is a lot of sixes. The dice said yes. So just as you're turning your attention away from these silhouettes, it's almost like them being in the periphery of your senses makes them focused. You make out rancher's clothes in the corner of your eye, and yes, you all do still have Lucky June. Because I think, Rida applied that earlier, and that doesn't necessarily go away. Anyway. What looks like rancher's clothes on them. The expressions are vague, but you get the sense that they're worried about someone. The silhouettes flicker briefly. For half a second, they look familiar. A familiarity that tugs at your heart. And then they vanish. Like a failing television screen projection. The Scraggy, however, still remains. Although now you notice they're somewhat translucent.
Tucker will slowly step down from the chair, turning towards the ghostly-looking Scraggy. Well, it wasn't their first run-in with ghosts, after all. So he's less scared and more curious. He tilts his head and softly speaks, "Hello?"
The Scraggy doesn't quite seem to notice you. But when you approach, you can hear them humming to themselves as they play with their doll. It's a simple thing, although it has a nice gold zipper and button eyes. It's hard to tell what it's supposed to resemble. But whatever it is, the kid seems to love it. Okay, come on, Mr. Bags. We're gonna go play in the garden. And the Scraggy gets up, clinging to their little doll friend. Don't go far now, young lad. A voice emanates from behind you, from the chair you were just in. It can be quite a danger outside. I know, Papa. Have you eaten your veggies today? No, Papa. Well. And before I continue, are you doing anything in response to this?
Tucker would startle. After all, he just got from a chair that is apparently now occupied by someone. Tucker kind of backs away from the chair, sort of instinctively, turning to see who was speaking.
It's a Scrafty, with a magnificent curly handlebar mustache. The exact one that was in the painting, no less. They're dressed quite stately, well-to-do. Monocle and all, which they have under a pair of reading glasses, since they're currently sitting there with a book.
Are they ghostly as well?
Indeed. They're somewhat translucent when you try to focus on them.
Tucker would watch both of the translucent Pokemon. At this point, he's quite aware that his presence isn't noticed, or perhaps even that this is something that isn't taking place where he is. At least not when he is. So he simply watches and sees how it plays out.
Well then. You know what to do, son. Off to the kitchens with you. Oh, but I want to play, Papa. You can play when you're properly nutritioned. Now, off with you. You and Mr. Bags. The Scraggy giggles and makes to exit through the other door that's in the room. Not the one you came in, but the other one here.
It's worth asking if the doll is also ghostly as everything else.
It does. But there's something about it that feels off to you. Would you like to use something connection related?
I think that makes sense. I think Tucker would try some sympathy on the Scraggy during this. Kind of slowly approaching, since he doesn't seem to be noticed, slowly approaching the Scraggy and trying to place a paw where this ghostly Scraggy is.
Alrighty. That would be Vitality Contest Perform, which is a very good roll for you.
Let's see how it goes. Can we get more of those, like, multiple sixes? That'd be pretty cool. I think I count that right. Yeah, I did. The only problem with so many dice is it's hard to count them sometimes.
Lucky Chant, that's a 4, right?
Yeah, it's a 4 because Lucky Chant.
Yep. You try to open up a connection with this Scraggy. And when you touch this translucent image, something flashes briefly, almost violently, before your eyes. Like a bright flashbang went off, and you can see a silhouette that rings in your memory. You've never seen yourself from the back before, but somehow you know it's supposed to be you. But you've never had a doll like that. When the flash is gone, it's the Scraggy again. Merely a second or two having passed, as they're already leaving near contact.
Is that silhouette of Tucker one of a canid or human form? That
Human.
flash had. Intriguing. That makes Tucker pause for a moment. More confused than any more informed by that connection. But it does compel him to follow the Scraggy through that door.
Okay. As you're going to do that, give me one more insight survival alert, please.
Okay. Five.
That's a 5. So as you start to pass through the door, it's already creaking closed. Your ear perks as you hear someone else enter the room. With little footsteps that sound all too solid to you. And then the sound of someone picking up a log from the fireplace? Oh. And then you hear a very familiar and the door shuts. And you are out in the hall with the Scraggy.
I am confused by that familiar noise. A familiar noise is somebody using a straw. It's what it sounded like to me.
I couldn't remember the noise I made for it.
I'll have to place it later, I suppose. And how does this hall look?
It's odd. For a moment, it seems old, musty, layers of dust and cobweb. But around the Scraggy and its doll, everything seems warm. Not necessarily old, but not entirely new either.
Tucker makes note of the new presence in the previous room. And thinking back to the other humanoid silhouettes, he realizes that there's quite a bit of activity that doesn't quite make sense here. As such, as long as none of it seems dangerous, he's going to focus the Scraggy as much as possible. And will follow them further. He does make note of the newness or warmth that the Scraggy seems to almost emanate. Actually, Tucker would like to use his nose to try to understand if the environment is actually changing or not around the Scraggy. Does it smell dusty around him?
I'm not even going to need you to roll that unless you want to.
probably easy enough. He's able to keep pace with the Scraggy, right?
It's not hard for you to test, either. Just staying a step or two behind the Scraggy, you can smell the must and the dust tingling at your nose. But just close enough to poke your head into that luminant little bubble. Almost as if it's supposed to be midday around the Scraggy in the house, compared to the darkening night that is already there. It definitely smells different. But it's not different in the way that you're in a different place. It's different in the way, like how you can remember how something smells.
I understand that.
And now, since Tucker is moving to a new location, we'll move to someone else. Who wants to go next?
Well, Ralph was next highest, or we could roll again.
That's true. You want to go next, Ralph?
I'm hyped. I do actually. Alright, I'll see here.
So
I got my fancy new key set, and
do.
I'm ready to open the door to adventure.
Indeed. I will note, for posterity's sake, one key had a young, round, smiling face, one had a lean, mustached face, and the last was wrought iron.
Yes.
Where did you get these keys? I forgot.
Master bedroom.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Indeed. Ralph, when the static clears in your head, you can see all around you these vague, dark silhouettes. Like cubicles. At night. As if something is projecting your memory of that little adventure of yours onto the real world. But these images are faded, old, distant. There's another one overlapping. The Scrafty from the painting. Dressed stately and well-to-do. They have a pair of monocles on.
Oh, like glasses. That's fun.
Indeed. They're rummaging in the drawer that you're right next to, and in fact their being seems to pass through you partially at times. And they pull out a phantom version of the keyring.
Oh, this could be useful knowledge.
They take what appears to be a lit candle from the side table and pause as they look over to the bed. There's an indistinct shape there beneath the covers. And then he moves.
He's sneaking out. Oh.
And then he moves.
Quietly.
Quietly. Leaving the master bedroom. So, what do you do?
Well, I actually kind of want to quickly stick my ghostly head under the covers to see if I can tell what's under there, and then chase after.
Are you attempting to lift the covers, or are you just like face planting?
Yeah, face planting into them.
Okay. Well, as you attempt to face plant into what is obviously a ghostly projection of some description, sadly, all you can see underneath is the bed itself. This puts your nose...
They never They never bothered to render in what was here because they didn't expect us to clip through.
They did not. Rather, this puts your nose very close to some dust and like tattered remnants of bedding. It makes you wish to sneeze.
Oh no, I'm gonna try not to. And
Roll
chase after the
resistance to
ghost.
sneeze. Roll resistance to sneeze.
Oh yes,
Fortune
absolutely.
save. To not sneeze.
I think that would be Constitution save.
Actually,
I was going to
probably.
say, roll me vitality.
Alright,
One of your best stats.
here we go. No sneeze. Ooh.
No. You know what? Lucky Chant is going, so I will say you just barely managed to avoid sneezing.
Like, ah.
You do that thing where you hold it in, but it pops your ears.
I like that mouth sneeze where you like, and like you spray a little bit of drool in between your lips. But yeah, we're gonna chase after the ghost.
After holding in the sneeze, wheezing, and feeling weird in the eyes and ears, Ralph chases after what appears to be the master of this estate. So
Yeah.
Ralph,
He's a Pokemon master. Because he's a Pokemon and he's the master of the estate. Pokemon master. I
Makes
chase
sense.
it. Yeah.
as you open the master bedroom door in order to follow, rather than the foyer, you are greeted by stairs down into the dark.
Oh, lovely. Well, if I'm gone too long, I'm sure someone will get me. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, off I go.
Yep. And the Scrafty is even ahead of you with a candle, lighting the way. How useful.
And now I'm thinking about how, like, it would be a weird relation if it were a lit wick.
Nah, I already did that to you guys. Darn, missed opportunity. Oh well. But no, this is an actual candle.
Lit wick being like, you know, as often as you come down here, I should get a raise. It's like, all you gotta do is exist.
So, you follow the Scrafty down the stairs, which seem to extend just a little too long for some reason or another, and eventually come down to a smooth, worked stone floor. It appears as though this basement or cellar has been hewn into the earth. Lifting the candle, the Scrafty seems to look about, taking great care to hold the keys so they create a minimum of sound.
He's definitely sneaking. Trying not to wake up that lump that was not rendered in for the cutscene that I chose it was pulled out.
Shh, you haven't gotten that DLC yet. What would you like to do in this cellar space?
I'm gonna look around, see if I can't work out what exactly goes on here. Like, I'm in a wine cellar, or like just a storage cellar, maybe a workshop.
Alright, go ahead and give me an insight survival alert, Ralph.
Also, I will say, Tubby, bad puns are terrible, but I do at least appreciate that near Halloween you're trying to get people to say boo.
Oh.
Since
Now all
the
he
season, I
needs-
suppose.
All he needs now is the bed sheet.
Too bad he sneezed and didn't take it. Or almost sneezed, I should say.
Ralph evolved into a Mimikyu.
Oh. Or a Mimic. I guess theoretically a Mimikyu could mimic any Pokemon, so it's Snorlax and Mimikyu isn't out of the question.
I was just imagining he tries to be a Mimikyu. He's like, guys, I am totally a Pikachu. Like, never mind the fact that I'm like several times the size.
I'm a Pikachu, I swear.
In any case, as you look around, Ralph, there's more dark silhouettes. Flickering, static things. They resemble towers that roughly come up to your shoulder height. Many, many rows of them. All of them imposed over other objects. Shelving of some description. Storage? It's dark, harder to see here. Even with the Scrafty's candle, it only illuminates a short distance. When you look in his direction, he seems to be searching for something, somewhere around the lower reaches of what looks to be a shelf, very quietly and gingerly moving a crate of some description out of the way.
Bring a crate. I'm gonna go up behind him, see if there's something behind the crate.
How quiet are you being?
I don't think he can hear me, so not super quiet. I'm just gonna walk up behind him. I'm not stomping my feet, but
Okay. Don't deny me. That was a terrible. Well, kind of. Alrighty. You hear a brief clink that draws your attention. It looks like there's a china set of some kind on one of the nearby shelves that may have been rattled briefly by the Scrafty's movements. He pauses, freezing up. 1 second, 5 seconds, 10, and then he moves again.
this guy's paranoid as shit.
And slowly, steadily, he moves box after box out of the way, revealing a thick stone door with an iron lock.
I see.
You begin to hear static again, a soft ringing in your ears, as he begins to reach up the key to open the lock.
Am I able to identify that it is the wrought iron key?
It's too dark to be either of the other keys, which glint in the candlelight. Unfortunately, just as he inserts the key into the lock, he and his light flicker out, leaving you in pitch black.
Content done.
And now we will move on to the next. Who shall it be?
We tied, so
I mean, we got a tie, so
Love the fact that you guys are on a wavelength.
I was expecting another tie given what you guys are talking about.
All right, Brooke's turn.
All right, Brooke. You've seen the apparition of scales at your side, seeing them seemingly react to your wonderings. And when you look back into the abode, the hall you came through is no longer there. Instead, rather than a straight shot back towards the foyer, you see a wall lit by setting sun, a pair of candle holders set into it. The hall itself runs horizontal as opposed to vertical, if that makes sense, leaving you options to go left or right.
Am I standing outside on the terrace right now?
You are. And for some reason, even though it's supposed to be dark, the sun already having set, you feel the warmth of a yet setting sun still on your back. A dry, warm breeze from a nice day coming to a close, drifting across your coat.
Can I see the roof from here?
If you step back and turn your attention to the roof, you can. It covers about halfway over the terrace, and it's at such a height that if you jumped high enough, or maybe had something to boost yourself, you could probably get on top of it if you wanted.
Brooke's gonna mutter, "This place gives me the creeps." Before... Does he see anyone else around?
That's a good question. Insight survival alert, please.
Well, you definitely have a vantage point if you are trying to look down from the terrace.
Yep. Four.
What is it you're looking for?
Just anyone in...
Oh, sorry, yes. I had a brain fart. So, similar to the others, not that you would know yet, you're seeing silhouettes, shadow puppets that seem to be moving and walking. People, not Pokemon. And they're all at least vaguely similar. Like they're in uniform. And even when you look out over the terrace, you can see those silhouettes, distant though they may be, hovering in the gardens.
Is Scale still there?
They are. And in fact, they're the only one that's not a shadow.
Brooke will kneel down a bit and ask, "Are you real?"
Scales looks at you. They appear worried. They open their mouth as if to speak. But even though they act as though they're conveying something to you, you can't hear it. In fact, you can feel some sort of deafness in your ears when it comes to their words. Because you can hear the breeze, the rustling of foliage, but you can't hear the silhouettes, and you can't hear them.
I think Brooke will just softly smile and offer his hand, signaling Scales to jump on his shoulder again.
Scales looks worried still as they stop. Their brow is furrowed. But they do their best to smile, and they climb onto your shoulder. It's a familiar weight.
I don't know what's going on, buddy, and I can't hear you right now. But I'm glad you're with me.
They nod. The humanoid silhouettes start to fade away in bits and pieces, flickering out like bad television. And instead, you see other colorful silhouettes. Pokemon that appear to be working in the garden. And the garden itself closer to what it once was. Flourishing, vibrant, though perhaps at least halfway unnatural for what's supposed to be here on this continent. And next to you, as if they'd always been there, is a Sneasel, leaning on the balcony. She's wearing a cyan dress and has several bits of jewelry that she has adorned herself with. Her claws have been painted ruby.
Mm-hmm. Brooke will look at her and say, I don't believe we've met.
She doesn't seem to respond. Though after a minute, she lifts herself up, ear twitching as she turns and smiles. Mama! A little Scraggy comes running onto the terrace, holding a doll. The Sneasel embraces the Scraggy, smiling.
Okay, so they can't hear me either. But I can hear them.
The child seems to be excitedly telling its mother about an adventure they just had with the doll, a doll they call Mr. Bags.
And I can't tell what the doll is supposed to be.
It doesn't necessarily resemble any Pokemon specifically, but it's nicely made. In fact, it seems slightly more solid than either of them. The only things really interesting about it are the fact that it has actual golden buttons and a zipper.
Brooke will look at Scales and say, do you see this too?
You didn't realize it, but Scales has suddenly switched shoulders. But they nod, seeming to watch what you're watching.
I think Brooke is going to pull out his lamp.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh boy, this is a fun interaction.
hold on a minute. I need to remember what it does.
It looks at things.
It does.
Reveals visible / stealthy Pokemon within 30 feet. Yes, it looks at things.
Mhm.
It does.
Put that there for one.
It's a smart item use in this situation.
Okay. We're gonna turn off the music briefly.
Okay.
You pull your lamp out from within the confines of your coat, and it's as though all sound has been sucked away behind its glass panes. A hushed, unpleasant whisper replaces it. The scene before you vanishes beneath the gleam of the many eyes of your lamp. Their gazes sweeping through the apparitions, causing them to dissipate like so much smoke. Scales, their weight you can feel has transferred to your back. When you hold the lamp aloft, it reveals that this place is still as you arrived at it. Decrepit, a derelict. The moment you move your feet, the terrace creaks, and you hear that broken sound again. When you look back to the hall where it originated from, there is no hall. There's not even a door. There's a rippling, scintillating darkness, like a crack in reality. It recoils from the lamp.
Hmm.
What will you do?
Brooke is going to set the lamp on the floor and sit next to it. And he's going to say, I don't know what you want from us, but I don't want to play any games. So, let's talk.
Games? A hauntingly familiar voice and figure just walks easily out of that semi-static darkness. An Esper, head tilted slightly to the side, approaching your lamp. They look at it, briefly poking at the twitching, sweeping eyes,
Is it the same Esper?
You get the very distinct feeling that it is. I know a game. They look up at you, Brooke. Same vacant, haunted-eyed expression as ever. Hide and go take.
Brooke is going to immediately grab the lamp and try to get on the roof.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a dexterity survival athletic to see if you grab that lamp in time.
Oh, 3.
Oh my good golly gosh.
That's not a good roll for me.
I'm trying to remember what the Esper did because it's been a while.
You remember the toy
Trapped
box?
us in a box, right?
They can
Yeah.
put stuff in a room.
They did
So-
it to more than just us, I think.
Without even missing a beat, the Esper picks up your lamp and begins just sort of trotting at a brisk pace into the house, causing the glitchy, warped darkness to recede, at least enough that you can see the hallway, just as it was in that vision, left and right. The Esper goes left.
Darn it.
That off to the side.
I feel like I was just nerfed.
That's not the song I want. So yeah, what's Brooke gonna do?
So,
When the
do we
duck
still
moves.
see the hallway, or is it...
Oh, you can still see the hallway.
Okay.
Apparently the Esper carrying your lamp into it caused whatever that fissure crack what's it to go away for now.
Lost the loading zone.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
I recall, I believe it was during the Snow Village that Esper was causing some problems, and then eventually trapped the party in a box, much like they had done with some of the villagers, if I recall. And as far as we could tell, they did it because they wanted to have fun, even
Yes.
though it was very much bothering people. And if I recall, at the end, they just kind of got away, basically.
Yeah, they just left.
They just left. We didn't have much we could do about that because they were a little too powerful for us, I think.
They didn't even really do anything to you besides putting you guys in the box.
Yeah.
Which is actually very similar to
We were
where we are now.
Kind of
Yeah, we
similar,
were
yeah.
elected.
Brooke will... Brooke will look behind him a little bit to where he feels Scales at.
Scales pokes their head out now that the lamp is gone and sort of rests it on your shoulder, looking at you kind of bewildered.
Brooke will just smile sheepishly, say, "Sorry, I didn't know what that would do." Guess we better follow them, though. And Brooke is going to go after the Esper.
Okay. And now, as we move on to Rida, we can resume the music.
Okay. Same song?
I broke
Yes.
the simulation.
Hope you can get that back. That's a useful... That thing is useful, as demonstrated.
Yeah, it cost me a little bit of money, too.
It sure did. Don't worry, audience, we'll change music soon. Just checking the time, just in case. Right. Rida, you have been very patient, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
You're currently in the kitchen. And you were remembering something. Your head, and specifically your cracked horn, begins to ache as flickering images, projections of something that you just don't quite remember, that you don't fully grasp, play out before and around you. Silhouettes of Pokemon of various sizes and shapes. The kitchen itself shifting between a much larger one and its current shape. And for but a moment, you see a Ralts and another Pokemon giggling, hiding halfway in a cupboard, as another, a much larger one, comes in looking for them.
Well, I'd say Rida winces a bit at the pain, and once their sort of vision focuses in on this a bit more, they sort of look curiously at the routes in the cupboard.
Just as you think you've got everything in focus, it snaps back, all filtering back in, muddied, changing to a different sort of memory. There are other Pokemon here now. But more specifically, there's a Sneasel, dressed in daffodil yellow. She appears to be cooking something in the kitchen, humming to herself. Sunlight streams through the windows. If you care to look outside, you can catch a glimpse of the garden. Or perhaps not the garden, but more of the estate, further back behind the house. It too is cast in the light of midday.
Rida lets out somewhat of a sigh as they walk up to the Sneasel and sort of wave a hand in front of their face.
They don't seem to react to you very much. Their form wavers at the edges when you accidentally pass through a portion of it. You're familiar with things like this. A projection. Although it's not like the illusions you know how to make.
After Rida realizes that it's projection, they sort of relax a bit and walk back to the center of the room. And here I thought I was losing my mind.
In walking back to the center of the room, you see down the hall, dark as it has become, a light. An approaching light at that. And following it is a much larger shadow. And soon enough, a little Scraggy, carrying a well-made doll, runs into the kitchen and begins to hop up and down next to the Sneasel. Mama! Mama! Papa said I could go play if I had veggies. May I have a veggie? Just one veggie? A veggie. One for me and one for Mr. Bags, they say, holding up the doll. The shadow that has been following this little light is Tucker.
Oh.
Rida will look surprised at seeing Tucker and then express, "It is a pleasure to see you here."
And just to ask, because things are a little warped in this place, this is actually Tucker?
Yes.
Okay. Tucker will look up. He seemed to be in heavy contemplation as he was watching and following the Scraggy. He blinks and seems to take a second to actually process the right is there. That's actually you, right?
I am not a visage.
Tucker's ears swivel a bit as he looks around the room he's now in, now finally noticing that he is in the kitchen. There's been quite a few of those, I've noticed.
It seems someone wishes to show us something.
He nods and then considers for a second. Question is, should we listen and watch? So far, I don't feel any malice over this, but
Personally, I see no reason to listen and indulge. We are here for a mission. We should do that and leave.
Tucker doesn't look entirely convinced by that statement, but does nod nonetheless. It's not incorrect. It's very clear that the Mayana is very curious of the situation, but that's just in his nature. Oh, would Tucker have been able to tell at this point that something weird is going on with going between rooms?
As far as Tucker understands, everything is congruent.
Yeah, nothing seemed incongruent yet. From what he knows, because he doesn't know the layout of this place.
You went
He
from
is
the...
not experiencing non-Euclidean
non-Euclidean.
space, yeah.
Yep, you went from the foyer to the reading room to the hall, and that all seems to line up so far.
Mm-hmm.
And for Rida, same thing. Rida also hasn't experienced that yet.
Tucker thinks about Ryda's statement for a second and does nod and agree. I guess so. Though it's a little harder to explore this place if things keep shifting in and out.
If we
And then,
ignore them, they will become more obvious with their intentions, or simply leave us alone.
I guess that's true.
I suggest we find the others before anything else, though.
And as you say that, the warmth and sunlight flickers briefly, like a light bulb that's starting to go bad. Tessellated, fractured, dark eats at the edges of this projection, like it's fraying. The voices of the Scraggy and the Sneasel are somewhat distorted, harder to hear.
Tucker notes this and, with less trepidation, does agree with Rida. Yeah, I think we should find the others too. Whatever's going on here, it's probably better to face it as a group.
Indeed. And Ryder will walk over towards Tucker. We should head back the way you came. It's the opposite of where it wants us to go.
Tucker sees no trouble with that logic and nods, turning back towards the door that he did come in from.
To answer Kyrio briefly, yes. Absolutely real.
Of course. It's real enough to take my dang lamp.
I mean, that's a fair ask. Brooke's experience with the Ghosty Goose is that they can interact and they kind of can't, so... But alright. Tucker, you turn back the way you came. Is Rida turning to follow them?
Yeah, Ryder's standing, beside Tucker as close as they can without touching.
Okay.
As you move to go back down the hall, you can actively watch as it twists, turning upon itself and angling upward. The creaks and groans of the old architecture, making it seem like it's going to just break apart, even though all it does is stretch and contort.
Tucker flops an ear as he watches this, and then mutters, "Actually, this kind of seems familiar a little bit. I wonder if this is just an illusion, too?" And he will walk forward. It looks impossible to traverse, but perhaps it is just another illusion.
Ryder is right with you on that. Because they were going to try the same thing. Because they're also like, yeah, this is all BS anyway, so there's a good chance that this just isn't real.
Now we can go to events 213.
Okay.
And you're moving down the Twisted Hall.
Yep. Or at least attempting to.
All right. So could each of you please make me a will roll?
Okay. All right, I have a will point down.
Will.
Oh, that's okay though. Let's see.
Solid 2.
Oh, solid 1. It's not really solid, but
It's fine. Low numbers.
at least not 0.
As you proceed down this dim, musty hallway, you start to realize gravity doesn't exactly function the same. Your minds tell you that you probably shouldn't be able to be walking vertically. But then again, nothing about this situation seems normal enough to warrant normal gravity.
It's just like the library.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Right, it's like, yeah, I'm used to this.
Right, it's like, oh, they're doing this. I know this. We do this at the library.
Tucker, like, wait, how did we do this again? But it's fine. It's fine. You've got shadows. It's okay. You can use the shadows and hike. But as you move through this hall, you notice windows, just as contorted. When you pass them by, there's nothing in them. Not light. Not the moonlit expanse of the estate outside. Not even other rooms. Beyond their panes is a pitch black.
While mostly focusing on simply walking forward without getting himself dizzy, Tucker does look out those windows briefly and simply comments, "Definitely feels like something's playing with us now."
They seem unhappy we are not going along with it.
We are going to swap back to Ralph now. So, Ralph, you've been left in the cellar.
And it's dark.
Indeed. You can't see.
Let's see. How'd that commercial go? Clap on. Clap off. Clap his hands.
Oh, you actually clap your hands.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, I'll clap his hands. Like, sort of like, maybe it's like a dream in that if I do something and expect it to happen, it will. So he claps.
You clap, and it echoes in the space, giving you a decent idea that the cellar is probably fairly big. And there's this creeping chill that begins to rise up your back.
Let's see.
You know, I think your zapper could make a little light, but I don't know how much.
Indeed. Look at this. Well, let us see.
Fire type metronome, anyone?
That's also an possibility, too.
No, I want to have place to still be standing.
I'm trying to think to myself, like, how much light does a taser make, actually? Like,
Not very much.
Not very
it's
much.
probably
no.
a candle if you're lucky.
Not even.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's
More of a spark.
not a whole lot of energy is lost as light.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use Odor Sleuth to just get my bearings
That's smart.
using 2 senses, since sight is out of commission.
Not a bad plan.
Insight survival alert. Not
Actually,
as good as.
That's the perfect thing to use right now. So go ahead and roll it. Don't botch.
Oh, that would be terrible.
I'm sorry, that's 4 6s. I don't think you botched.
Yeah, no botch.
Oh, wow. Almost perfect.
Critical sniff.
Ralph becomes tough.
Oh, that's got to be one of the top quotes of tabletop gaming. Right up there with the Dungeon Master asking me, "You really think you would score with the barmaid?" I said, "Low key, yes." And then there was a short pause. High key, yes.
Gosh. Well, Ralph, you're still a Snorlax, altered though you are. Your nose is able to pick out different smells, maybe not as good as Tucker's can when he's not being overwhelmed by something, but well enough. This cellar smells of musty, stale air, but also a dampness. And you smell something else. Something off nearby to you. Go ahead and give me an insight survival alert, please.
I believe that's fair thingy. Alright, so let's see if I can do it again.
I'm gonna give you a bonus because of Odor Sleuth and what it does.
Well,
With Lucky
3
Chin, the
with
bonus, that'll
3.
be enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you're able to react in time for this.
Also, thanks, Hydra, for lucky chat. It's been useful.
It's the one thing I'm good at.
As some phantasmal creature lunges out at you in the dark.
Oh,
This is an attack.
It's Foxy.
oh no. Let's see. I don't know how much room I actually have in the dark, so I'm not going to attempt to clash this thing and potentially smash through the wall. We're just gonna try to dodge.
Gonna throw yourself a direction, hope that doesn't also break something. Because it gets...
Well, I'm gonna no, I don't have to move as aggressively. Worst case, I bump into something.
That's true.
Anyway,
Good question.
alright. Survival's in a dodge, right?
No.
Or is it not? Oh,
It's Dex Fight Evasion.
Dex Fight Evasion. Alright. I was thinking it's athletic.
Dex Survival Athletic
Or-
would be like trying to
Do
leap a
parkour.
distance. Yeah. This is an attack. We use evasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, use evasion.
Wow, my dodge is pretty good actually for.
Oh boy. Well, that's
Two.
unfortunate.
At least.
Yeah.
but not good enough, unfortunately. I don't think.
Want to have that?
Yeah, it's Rod. No.
No.
I'm curious to see what happens if it hits.
Well, let's see if it plinks you. Oh, wait. Wait, are you normal? Are you normal?
I
Psychic?
Am.
am.
If you're asking Tubby, I'm
You're
not too
normal
sure.
psychic, so it doesn't
I'm
affect
normal thing. Yeah. I'm like, come on.
Are you normal?
because-
Is such a statement.
Ralph is anything but.
Oh, wait, no, you used Odor Sleuth, so it can affect you.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you're right.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
still
that's a
playing
two-way
regardless.
here. That's a
Hours.
two-way sleep.
I forgot
Yep.
Odor Sleuth is a two-way street, actually.
Alright, well, you take plink damage as a poltergeist lunges out at you with Astonish.
It
I'm
literally is a jump
astonished.
scare.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna lick it.
Well, let's see if you flinch first.
I mean, it's a ghost move.
Boy, I hope I don't.
No flinch. Lucky you.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna start tracking.
Wait, what type is Astonish? Is that a ghost move?
Yeah, it's a ghost
Okay.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought it was a normal move. Okay.
No.
I don't know why I
sad.
thought that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
There is now the clattering of fine china as the poltergeist encroaches upon you. Go ahead and try to
Indeed.
lick it. Oh, right, Ghost is super effective against Ghost.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
The licking at ghosts is actually a good idea in Pokemon. As weird as it sounds.
Right,
Hold
and
on.
Ghost-
I forgot the last two bras, so two more.
They can dish it out, but they can't take it in.
That did
Yeah.
absolutely nothing to your rule.
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah. Accuracy of.
Okay. Was that at -2?
It was not. I should have asked if.
Doesn't matter, the last
Yeah.
two dice didn't work anyway.
Mhm.
Let's see here.
I think
Yeah.
Oh, no, it can't even dodge you. Alright, go ahead. Lick the china.
Hmm. Oh, it doesn't collide with the poltergeist.
The china's part of the poltergeist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was. Alright, strength plus 1.
Wow, that was the clink noise.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. It rolled a pretty decent stealth. It could have rolled better. Oh my
so
goodness.
Many ones, gosh.
Well, ones don't count on damage, if I recall right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's still 3.
Yeah, and then. Yeah, and that's on a guaranteed plus 1.
So it's a 4. Oh, wow.
But not
You actually-
plus 1.
Oh, that's sad. Oh, it loaded. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you actually do damage to this thing.
Nice.
However, let's see if it disables Lick. It does not.
Excellent. Let's see if mine goes.
Oh, right, because you have Paralyze.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Paralyze the ghost.
Double
let's
paralyzed.
go. Oh.
I have no idea.
As there's this clattering, cracking, and crashing as the entire china set comes to the floor, and it's so hard for you to see. Its spectral body barely even glows with ectoplasm, almost as if it's been starved of whatever sustains it for so long. But it looks as though it's just sort of a puddle there on the floor amidst fine china. It doesn't look like a poltergeist as you might know it either.
Hmm.
I kind of want to see if I can scare the other living hits out of it.
It paralyzed. It can't do anything.
I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna ready up the shield and go for a big scare. See if I can make it quiver on the ground here.
You better roll really good.
Scare the ghost type. Let's go. Like imply that I'm gonna consume it. That I'm like the bigger, badder ghost.
Okay, well
Scare off with the ghost.
it's at a -4 since you're doing this in succession.
Right. It is enemas. Could I do it though? Let's see. Put your hand. That's one on intimidate. And intimidate is it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. So imagine if I didn't use tough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even at a -4, I have 6 to intimidate.
You
Go
have
for it.
dice pools, man. Also, I like how Poltergeist's default texture glitch makes him like blood tea. Good.
That is actually perfect.
Yeah, like that's pretty good, especially for a -6.
Yeah, that's solid.
Even suffering paralysis, its ectoplasmic pseudopods and tendrils struggle to ooze away from you, dragging the clattering ceramic with it. It's almost unsettling.
Oh,
Like watching the shattered remains of a creature continue to move about and goop itself places. I wonder if it's what it's like to watch Grimer move. Well, you've defeated the jump scare, I guess.
it's fine.
Given how quickly you did that, it makes me think of Spooky House's jump scare when a cardboard cutout jump scares. You're like, oh, okay, punch or whatever, like just whatever, cut it down. With it, like,
That was
axe.
fun. Alright, let's see here. I'm still in the dark.
Ralph, when you chuckle, there's another chuckle.
Oh, another one?
He's just excited now.
Let's see. Oh, I know what to do. Marco!
Hello.
Sweet, I'm gonna follow the voice, and every so often
And you
shout
hear
Marco.
a brief skittering. Alright. As you wander around the cellar, you keep shouting Marco. Your voice echoes a little bit, but this time there's no response. You have moved away from where the door was.
Oh my! I may have been bamboozled, quite possibly hoodwinked. Dude, I'm just gonna have to wander around in the dark, I guess.
Alright.
Careful not to run. I don't know if I've ever offhandedly mentioned this before, but I was real little. I was doing a haunted house. I'm like, trying to be brave and stuff, and I got spooked by something, and I ran. And the next room was a strobe light room. It was all white, and I ran smack into a little wall at full force.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had to be bandaged. I had to be bandaged up and shit.
Oh.
Oh.
Smack into a stone wall at full tilt. Like I got spooked real good, and I was running.
Alright. Well, you wander around. As you slowly start bumping into things, you realize that this cellar is organized in a series of rows of some sort of storage spaces, shelving. Originally, it may have even once held wine. While mercifully you don't tread on any broken glass or anything like that, the dampness you smell only continues to be pervasive. It even gives way to a slightly moldy smell as you pass by a certain rack.
I'm gonna try and feel on some of the racks that, don't smell as moldy. See if I can feel anything. Also, does it feel bigger than it should?
Kind of, but it's hard to tell given the darkness.
Indeed.
Such a shame that Ralph is the one who went in the cellar. Smiles.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Okay, Ralph, go ahead and roll me a doom die. Let's see where your luck rolls.
Alright, how many dooms do I have?
Roll me 3.
3 dooms, my.
Alright, let's get 3
dooms.
6s.
You know what? Those are some pretty good dooms.
That was almost 3 6s. You're very close.
Roll 3 6s and I just get, Tina just abducts me.
Well, you happen to find first off, one of those old oil lamps, you know the ones that have the adjustable little dial in the base. It just happens to be empty.
Ah, neat. So, first, acting on adventurous instinct and experience of the craziness that's happened to me so far, I'm gonna rub it and see if a hoopa comes out.
Sadly not. It's
Oh.
one of those that's the style that would have been kept in a household or maybe around a mine.
Yeah. Yeah, one of
Weird.
those hanging lanterns.
Weird. Why would they need one of those?
Give it a shake. Confirm it's completely empty.
Sadly.
A hanging lantern? Why would it be weird for them to have one in the cellar?
It's the kind that you would use in a mine, or that you might have sitting on a side table in a rather old home.
So it looks out of place, even though it's functional, but it's out of place.
Yes.
I'll hold on to it for now, since it's the best I got.
Add to cart.
I don't know that I'll be keeping it with them, so they may or may not need a card for it.
You have also found what seems to be a jewelry box of some description.
Ooh, actually, I am going to feel around in there for a ring in particular. Not that I can see it, or what it would look like. It might be horrible.
The
This is
hinges
cool.
creak when you try to open it, and you can feel on the surface that it's probably relatively fancy looking. Inside, however, unfortunately, the cushioning has probably been eaten away by Mothim or something else over the years. You do feel something metal inside.
All
Probably
right,
for the best to wait until you're in the light to see what's in it.
yeah, we will hold on to that.
Oh no, a ghost.
Finally, Ralph, what sort of weird, eclectic thing do you think the master of this household might have kept down here as a memento that they, never used, even though they said they would?
Set of golf
No.
clubs.
Mm,
Both of our answers are hilarious. But no, since it's this time period, maybe a croquet set.
All right.
That's a
You're
rich
fine.
people game, right?
Pretty much. I don't even know how to play it.
How is that spelled again?
Oh, I think it's Croquet, but I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
I was right. It's a weird word.
Crockett.
Well, you do, in fact, find a croquet set, or equivalent thereof. The more interesting part of that find, for you anyway, is the mallet. It's not sized for someone like you, but it's big enough to be a nice hand hammer if you need it.
Yeah. Oh, I can go to courts and call for order. It'll be great.
As you wander, though, eventually you come across the emptied shelf again.
I'm going over you. Call out into the darkness. Hey, the giggling voice. Can I have another clue? Ralph muses a bit. I try weird stuff like this all the time. I don't ever really know if it'll work. And he shrugs. Yeah, but sometimes knocking on the door is the best way to get it to open.
You say that, Ralph, and you're immediately assailed by another vision. A vision of yourself on that night. You had tried every single key to get past that door. Sure, it had a pin padlock, but you didn't know the code. So you knocked. And from behind the window of this door, something knocked back.
I'm gonna feel along the wall until I find it.
It doesn't take long. Eventually, your hand drifts across the lock itself.
Oh, excellent. We're just gonna... Did that come through? Did that come through? Did the said we're just gonna...
I didn't hear anything.
Darn. I knocked in
Oh,
the
you
knock
knocked
of...
on the door. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
I knocked in the knock of shaving a haircut. I said,
Nice.
knock.
Okay, sorry. I thought you had just, stopped talking for some reason.
Oh, no, I physically knocked on the desk in front of me, but I guess noise suppression.
Yeah, unfortunate, because I appreciate stuff like that. I appreciate it. Remind me to give you an extra experience point.
Me too.
So you do that. And there's a long, unsettling silence after. And then you hear a knock on the cellar door. Behind you, distant and yet all too close. And
Voices.
back to Brooke we go.
Real quick, what happened to the door?
Ralph knocked on it to the tune of a shave and a haircut instead of using the key on it, which, I don't know, maybe that was a good idea, maybe it wasn't. And then something knocked on the cellar door up the stairs.
Ooh,
Hmm. Interesting.
very.
But yeah, I'm excited to see
Creepy.
what's in it afterwards.
Brooke, you're chasing after Esper.
Yep.
You, and by proxy Scales, see the Esper trotting their way down the hall at such a brisk and yet even pace, carrying your lamp with them. It's certainly helping shed light on the increasingly dark surroundings of the estate. You can see side tables down the hall, vases that are sometimes there, sometimes not. It's almost as if the hall repeats itself a couple times before the Esper finally makes a turn. When you go to follow Esper, assuming you still do,
Yeah.
instead of just a hall, you find a steep slide. So please, give me a Dex Survival Athletic.
These are bad rolls for me. I'm a clumsy oaf.
Not too
Maybe
clumsy
that
today.
clumsy.
You're able to stop yourself before you immediately slide down. But you do see the Esper sliding down this slide that somehow seems to spiral at some point. They're making this little wee noise as they go down. It's just small and quiet and creepy cute.
Oh gosh. Yeah, what immediately comes to my mind is the Mario track.
Also, Fair's comment: exit A, follow the Esper. Esper would absolutely make an exit A, like 100%.
Brooke will get Scales into a secure position in his arm, say, hold on tight, and he'll jump down the slide.
Scales looks like they are trying to scream, but of course, you do not hear them. They have covered their eyes. But you jump down the slide, and you're sent careening around in ways that really should not be possible for the architecture. But that is secondary to getting your lamp back at the moment. You get closer and closer, and then Esper just hops off, and you keep going.
Ah.
And Esper seems to be standing on a floor of some kind as they watch you go down, and they just wave.
Oh,
Okay.
you've been bamboozled.
Okay, I will hide now, and you must come take. And then you get one last glimpse of your lamp before swoop, into the cube it goes.
Okay, that's the familiar sound.
Oh,
Just-
okay.
Swoop. I forget the exact sound, but I think that's closer to it.
Yeah.
Just swoop.
Can I?
Oh, right. Just
Right. It was a pop. Can I use my ice gun to stop my descent?
you may attempt to do so.
Let's see. Basically, I just want to make like a little bump I can stand on. Text fight channel. 9.
I'd say that worked to some extent.
All right. What would you like your ice gun to do on this slide, ramp, whatever it is?
I'd like to maybe build a little ice wall for me to stop my momentum.
Alrighty. You're able to aim your maw down just enough so that you can aim ahead and create an angled ice wall that allows you to stop completely. There's a brief moment where the wall crackles under your weight, but then it seems to hold steady.
Can I see where the Esper was? Or is it just dark?
It is dark, but you can see the twin glow of their eyes, still watching you. They may or may not be aware that they glow in the dark a little bit. They're somewhat above you, but as you think that they look like they're above you, there's this strange weightless sensation. And you realize, while you're craning your head up, they're below you. A window seems to just fissure into existence between the two of you. And you are now on the ceiling of an overly tall hallway, while Esper is on the moonlit floor. They stare a few moments more, and then begin trotting away to hide.
Brooke's gonna click his tongue. Frustration.
Luckily for you, on the ceiling you're not. When you look around, you can see stairs that probably lead down to the first floor. Maybe. If you can get to them.
Can I jump to where Esper was?
You certainly can try.
Is that going to be another Dex survival athletic?
Unfortunately, yes. I'm realizing that you are getting a lot of the athletic rolls today.
Well, I'm the one trying athletic stuff. I'm chasing something.
It took me a
For good
minute to be like,
reason.
Oh, that's not the worst.
Yeah, it's not bad.
took me a minute to be like, oh wait, I'm gonna make you roll this again. So you jump, and you hang in the air for a bit. And just as it seems as though you are going to go back to the ceiling, Scales wriggles from your arms, grabbing your hands, and they do a somersault, almost shifting the polarity of your gravity and swinging you back down to the floor. And then they land on your shoulder with a smile.
Nice.
Good thinking, bud. Brooke will say, and he'll start sprinting the way that the Esper went.
They smile and give a thumbs up, pointing off in a different direction.
Brooke will look where he's pointing.
They're pointing toward a door. It's labeled kitchen. The sign on the door looks almost homemade, with the lettering burned into it. Or scratched, and then painted to look like it was burned into it.
In there? Brooke's gonna ask.
Scales nods.
Okay, Brooke's gonna go into the door.
You enter the kitchens. There's a few brief moments where there's a flicker of a vision. It's the Sneasel again, in a daffodil yellow sundress. They're cooking something. And then they're talking to a small Scraggy with a doll. And then they're not there. And it's back to the way it was. Brief flashes, almost like snapshots. The fissures are there again. Cracks. Crumbling cubic corruption. Just at the edges of the room's corners. There are 2 other doors here. Or rather, a door, and a path leading out to the hallway.
Do I see any sign of the Esper here?
You don't. Scales points to the door.
Brooke will open the door.
And this is where we're going to pause the work briefly. Shoot, I lost track of where people are.
I'm still in the cellar.
We were walking
Right
through Twisted
about-
Hall.
Yeah, we're dealing with a weird hall that doesn't look traversable, but we were walking it anyways.
Darn it, my brain is forgetting where I left Rya and Tucker off at. I know I left you guys off at a good point. You were traversing the hallway. Oh, right, you were climbing.
We were going up, like the hall, like the kitchen, like the library. Yeah, it's twisted. It went up.
Given the time and the fact that I need to at least start the oven for dinner, 5 to 10 minute break. Everybody stretch, everybody hydrate, and we will resume with Tucker and Rya.
Okay.
Mm.
I do appreciate the wholesome, broken scales scenes.
See,
What
I'm
the-
still uncertain if this is... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Kyrio.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say I'm still uncertain if this is fully the Esper and psychic phenomenon, or if there's also ghosts on top of that.
Well, there are definitely ghosts around. Ralph licked one.
Yeah, but is the Esper actually real, or is that just, fake?
I mean, that's what I asked in chat, and Cart did seem to imply that it was a real thing.
Carr was fairly definitive on, yes, this is actually like a tangible Esper, unlike everything else that's been intangible. Specifically, I think, was more or less what was explained.
Maybe I'm just a skeptic.
Better question
Yeah.
to ask is why is the Esper here? Like, if it is real. Anyways.
Yeah.
Last saw it up by, oh my, I forgot the name of the mountain. Where we fought Articuno.
Snow Run Hamlet, Mount Shiver.
Yeah, Mount Shiver. Yeah, because technically...
Yeah,
by
I'm
the
just looking at the
Hamlet-
map.
Yeah, by the Hamlet is where the Esper was last encountered. And they did scamper off. We kind of just got out of their trap and that was it. We didn't really deal with them. If I recall correctly, notably, they did, like, spirit away some of the villagers into their box. Like, I don't think they're directly malicious, but they are completely willing to treat other creatures as just their playthings because they want to entertain themselves, which is not very good. We never did resolve that fully because, well, last time they just kind of left after we got out, which took a bit of effort. Didn't take too long, but we couldn't really do anything about them just wandering, just kind of leaving after that. Because they kind of are a little bit powerful, actually. when you
I
could bend
wonder if
reality
we
from
are
kind of
actually in the box.
Yeah,
or
it's
not
possible.
yet.
It's possible, and it's also possible it's not. We don't really know the capabilities of Esper beyond the box too well. And of course, the box itself is confusing, so...
I want to say we're not in the box, just because it put the lantern into the box.
That's true. It did, like, the lantern... Well... I don't know what the limits of the box is, though, at the same time. It's a very weird thing.
Yeah.
Goodness, this went on longer than I intended, but I hope you all are enjoying.
Oh, I'm having a great time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great.
I hope we didn't start too late. I'm sorry if we started a little late.
It's okay. I understand. But, like, also I may have dragged this out a little long because I'm having too much fun.
I will comment that it's okay to have spooky Halloween events take place for more than 1-2 week period. It's you know, it's all good. Halloween. Listen, I'm going to have some Halloween events in November anyways, so
That is totally okay. Are we ready to resume?
I
Yeah.
think so. Actually, you know what? November may as well have Halloween events if Christmas already overtakes Halloween before Halloween's even over. Let's give
Yeah,
Halloween
let
a
the
little bit of
creep-
November.
That's
Make
fair.
Halloween creepy.
Tucker and Rya, as you climb up the twisting hallway, you soon find instead of just smooth floor, you've begun climbing stairs at a normal angle. And you find yourselves in an attic. The door itself has long since been lost on its hinges. Just set off to the side. Most things in here are covered in dust or by cloths, making them appear almost as ghosts. Of the discount Halloween variety, perhaps.
When they enter the attic, Tucker, though it's kind of very obviously, but nonetheless states, "This is not where it came from at all."
Rya is sort of just looking around the room, taking it all in, looking at any little detail that may seem out of place.
Alright. Go ahead and give me an insight survival alert.
Do
My goodness, I forgot about your contest score.
Oh yeah.
Stacking garments.
Hmm?
You don't see anything that would be terribly out of place in an attic. In fact, there might be fancy things to get for V here. Oh, right. You guys came here with V on a mission. I mean, there's that fancy painting over there that has a Scrafty with a big mustache on it. There's another armchair. Fancy lamp that probably went unused for the entirety of its stay in this place. And who knows what else in the boxes and various things that have been stashed up here. You even see what looks like a child's toy chest shoved in one corner.
Rya thinks for a moment before heading towards the toy chest, and starts to rummage around in that.
Is there anything Tucker would like to do?
Which one are you going for? What object are you going for, Ryder?
Ryder's going for the toy
The
chest.
toy chest, okay. Well, Tucker will make note of the toy chest as well. And, honestly, we'll probably just join Ryder in taking a look at that specifically. He does note there's a number of things they could pick up for V, but everything looks a little too cumbersome to grab right now, especially considering they don't really know if something weird is going to happen next, and perhaps he, needs not to be loaded down with something. So he joins in looking at the toy chest. I'm a bit curious what's in there too.
Tucker can also give a Dex survival alert to see if you spot anything besides the toy chest.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Rya, in the toy chest, there's sewing supplies. Spare thread. Most of it black, but other colors too.
Here, I thought they'd be sugar cookies.
Sugar cookies, you say? There's also a tin that probably did house cookies at one point that, when opened, has a bunch of little figurines in it. Pokemon figurines, of course. Some of them are dressed up like knights, and some of them are depicted as a little more monstrous than they actually are.
What are they made of?
Hard to say. Probably a very common material like pewter.
Well, Ryder's gonna pocket the sewing stuff.
Are they...
There's-
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead and ask your question.
The figurines, can any of them be making out as far as what they are?
Please do not make me give specific Pokemon.
Tell me what all 42 of them are, and I would like to know, do they have their full action figure sets, and do they have their accessories? I need to know this information.
They are not posable. They are little figurines, and they are a variety of Pokemon species dressed as knights, sorcerers, monsters, etc.
What's a D&D set?
Basically,
Tucker, I will say Tucker will pocket a small assortment of the figurines at random. Just a pawful.
this is the second time that Tucker has picked up a figurine.
He's collecting.
He does like his toys.
So, unfortunately, there is a shifting that comes elsewhere in the attic. Something that sounds like a brief scurrying, but when you look, there's nothing there. But the both of you feel something approaching. And when you look back, the door is no longer off its hinges. And dark, scintillating cracks creep at the edges of its shut frame. The house creaks and groans around you.
Does Ryder have any reaction to that, first off?
Ryder seems unimpressed. And if anything, more just sort of, we already told you this. We're not. I'm not playing your game.
Tucker just looks kind of frustrated at this point, much agreeing with Rya on that point. Though he does give it a thought for a moment.
Where are you? The voice creeps like an insidious thread through the door's keyhole. Little thief. The handle rattles. Where have you gone with what's mine?
Wow.
Tucker seemed briefly intimidated, then was suddenly curious, muttering under his breath, "Little thief, huh?" Rya, all the other voices weren't talking about us or to us. Wonder if this one is.
Why don't we find out?
Knock. Knock. Knock.
Who's there?
There's a pause in the knocking. A hiss. And the sound of raveling fabric. Tendrillous thread seeping under the doorway, like shadow creeping and crawling in the form of worms.
Tucker will react to that. In turn, he'd like to use Dark Pulse and also trail it along the ground towards those tendrils, as a defense for both him and Rya.
Feel free to roll.
Thank you, Lucky Chat. Thank you, Lucky Chat.
Yes.
Just as a dark head begins to peek out of that creeping fabric shadow, it seems to zip away, as if it had opened a zipper in space and slipped through it back into the floor. But you can hear the voice echo in the room. They were right. New guess. Don't worry. I'll take great care of all of you. We'll have so much fun together. But first, little thing. And the voice begins to get more distant. Little thief, where have you gone?
Ryder will quickly chime in. Perhaps we can play, if you allow us to help you find your little thief.
Behind you, Ryder, is the sound of a zipper being undone. And hanging out of a rift in the air, a corruptive fracture, is a bayonet with wide, golden eyes. Oh? you going to play a game with me? Then
That
let's play a
depends.
game. It's called hide and go seek. We're all in. So let's seek. And they grin, a toothy golden grin.
And who are we finding?
A little thief who took something that they're not supposed to. They wag a finger slowly back and forth. Nobody takes anything out of my toy box. I need it. All of it. Tucker, give me an insight instinct will.
Okay. I should also
Also,
note
at
that
the sound of that, Ryda's gonna pull out that sewing stuff and sort of just hold it out, like, here, you can have it.
that's a very weird roll. Sorry, it took me a second. By the way, I'd like to note that Tucker has been just maintaining this little dark field around him and Rida. He was slow to turn to face the Banette as such, too, because he's sort of straightened himself a bit to do so. Basically just keeping up a little shield, effectively, while they have this conversation.
I'm going to leave you in anticipation while I put a pizza in the oven.
Okay. I guess I also could share with the chat that Tucker does look a bit intimidated by the situation as he realizes this is a creature that's actually reacting to them and thus could be more of a threat. He's very intense, but he's not scared like he would used to be in situations like this. I do not know the size of this net.
Say.
I just realized. Also, I forgot that. Let's see. How big is the net? Same size as Rida, maybe? Like, what's accurate for that?
Seems reasonable enough, I suppose.
Alright, pizza's popped into the oven.
Caught in a war. I guess I should tell Car too. Tucker is not really scared, but he is a bit intimidated and definitely intense and wary right now.
As you should be. Because for just a moment, your darkness brushes against one of the threads of the bayonet's fracture. Do you remember what happened when you encountered the Vespa Queen so long ago?
What specifically?
Like the alarm going off?
Yep,
I don't quite remember, actually.
that's okay. A warning flashes across your vision. It's ever so brief, not enough for it to complete what it says. Like text on a computer screen. The warning flashes and static briefly invades the peripheries of your gaze. But then your darkness retreats, as does the bayonet's threads, the fracture closing behind them and zipping up as they fully step out.
Rida will note that Tucker does actually sort of stagger all of a sudden during this. Though it doesn't seem like he was hurt.
The bayonet clasps their hands, grinning as they sway from side to side. Ooh, the shiny one said that there'd be guests. Oh, and I've been so hungry. But it's okay. It's okay. We just have to get that back.
Oh boy, the shiny one.
Don't worry. We're looking for a little thief. They're about yay high. And they put up a hand that's just like a little under shoulder height for them. You know, Esper height. Oh, and they've got these purple glowing eyes, as they tilt their head to the side, pointing index fingers at their eyes, which briefly flash a malevolent purple hue.
That gets Tucker to react as he kind of recovers from the little warning he just experienced. He does recognize that description, that visualization.
Don't worry. Once we've got them, we'll get everything back. Isn't that right? As they tilt their head back, and there's a straining noise, like fabric stretching a bit too far, as they tilt it back further and further, staring
That's awful.
at the painting. And they twist around, staggering over to the painting with an unsteady, whimsical gait, placing their hands on it. Ah, you did so well. Thanks again. We should play a game later. A mischievous, impish little giggle emanates from behind the painting. And creeping out from behind it is a sable eye. Ooh, yes. Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm sure. I'm sure. Don't worry. With this, maybe I can stop eating all these nice things. My memories. It's okay. They're all still here. You haven't broken anything. Who said anything about broken? The sudden intenseness causes the sable eye to recoil behind the painting. It's okay, it's okay. They lightly drag their hands across the surface of the painting, seeming to drag violet threads out of it, drawing them into its zipper mouth. Just a snack before we go, friends. Then we'll play some real hide and seek. Let's see. Oh, yes. Ralph.
Yeah.
The door to the cellar just knocked back.
It
What would
did.
you do?
So I have the option of letting them in or moving on.
Indeed.
Uh,
But the only exit besides that door is the locked one.
yes, but I have a key, so I'm good. Alright, so the door that I knocked on is the locked one, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Put a key in there. Actually, no. Not yet. Call up the stairs that they can come in. I'm thinking about it real hard, but I'm like, yeah, come in, the door is open.
Door opens. There's some light that comes in. Hello? Hide and go take? Peta, 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 as there's these little light footsteps coming down the cellar. And there's
And
two...
take. I'm gonna quickly open the door before I can snatch my keys. That way, at least the door is open. Click.
Go ahead and give me a dexterity check, just in case. Because you know how this works in horror movies, right?
Is that a flat dex roll for him?
Yep, just a flat dex roll. It just needs to not be a botch.
Here we are.
That looks not
Okay,
like...
not a
does that
botch.
look
So
like-
you don't fumble the keys at all.
Yeah,
You basically had the wrought iron key ready and in the lock, and you called out, and then you basically heard the Esper and were like, nah, click.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go through the door and I'm gonna lock it behind me. It shouldn't be a problem for you since you're a ghost and I'll click.
Oh yeah, right, you don't even know it's Esper.
It's dark. Well, wait. Esper's eyes glow?
Yeah, Esper's eyes glow.
But if
But
all you see
also,
is glowing eyes, then
yes.
Yeah. Was that scene, or...
Well, yes, I was going to say before Ralph decided, you know what, I'm going to open the door. It's like, okay. But yeah, it's like, yeah, you can see the two glowing eyes as they start to rapidly come down the stairs. But I mean, that would be pretty frightening, gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if Ralph would place it or not.
just note out of there. Maybe if you remembered the phrase, hide and go take.
Was that used before?
No, it wasn't.
It was
That's a new one.
Oh, was it?
I mean, this thing did traumatize us, so I feel like some of my memory would be committed to him.
So the previous phrase was, "This is mine now."
That's
that is true. Okay, yeah. I remember he said something.
That phrase traumatized so many people. I made me so happy.
Someone taught it a different game.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ralph, you avoid whatever that was by locking yourself in the secret room. And you're encompassed by another vision. It's cramped. More like a small cave.
One moment.
Okay. I guess this tea could be put back over here.
Sorry, the poltergeist was one off.
Yeah, it's just like what I love is that when I put them all down, basically just immediately faded. My timing was bad.
None of you made it to the dining area.
Maybe I'll return then. There's so many of them there. Oh no.
Poltergeist, Polty-dish.
Sinistea is the preamble, right? There'll probably be a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
Sinistea, Poltergeist, Rotome but dishes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Poltergeist and Rotom have some things in common because they both try to pretend to be a basic household item. But more Rotom forms would be entertaining.
I mean, technically Rotome does not exist in the setting currently because it ball lightning phenomenon and not enough stuff to stay in.
Oh, that's true.
I say technically.
Well, there's always these like Rotom forms are showing up in like multiple games now, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
Even when
Maybe.
Rotom themselves is in the
Right,
game.
sorry about that.
Welcome
Maybe
back.
Ralph can maybe Ralph can tame a Rotom in his zapper.
That'd be fun.
Oh, goodness. Rotome Zapper. So, you find yourself in what appears to be a small cave of some kind. And yet, in the vision that you're seeing, it's been lit. Small candles in little niches dug into the walls. It's a bit of a squeeze for you, but not for the Scrafty that you were following. Do you proceed?
Yeah, let's follow him.
As you
What are they hiding?
As you head through the cave, it becomes wider, leading out into a semi-rounded room. And there, within it, is a workstation, an altar, something. It's a space where the table, or dais, or whatever it seems to be, as it is draped in some sort of cloth, is covered in several layers worth of paper and utensils. Actual shelves have been brought down and built here. Books, utensils, tools, crystals, flasks, all lit by candlelight. And there, at the center, is the Scrafty, kneeling before a golden statue of Giratina. Pardon me, but I need to process that as I need to take the pizza out. So figure out what you want to do.
Okay, now the plot thickens.
Indeed.
The thick plottins.
Pretty sure that Giratina is not something you should just worship willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I mean, last time we saw them, it was in another haunted mansion. So,
wait, did we see them there too?
well, Riley did.
Oh,
He used a move that took him into the underworld or whatever for a second.
I forgot about that entirely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of Riley, this was roughly our relationship. I posted a picture in our group chat. I love this picture.
That is, yeah.
Accurate.
Oh, that's so mean.
I love it.
Right. So, what do you do, Ralph?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he was so like freeze up before entering this room.
Mm-hmm. Do non-protagonist Pokemon trainers know about Giratina?
So, they would know about Giratina via myth.
Hmm.
And if you had zero interest in theology at all, probably not.
What was Ralph's old job again?
Ralph
He
worked
was
with
a
Bill.
researcher, yeah.
Yeah, the end part of his job was we worked with Bill. There's a little bit of he was an intern for Bill, and there was one scientific job before that and one menial job in his youth. I fleshed him out like way far
I see.
into.
I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, researcher. Well, depending on what kind of research you are, mythology can be something you need to research, so kind of heads.
Yeah, I don't think it was defined
Yeah.
exactly what he researched.
Bill might have yapped about this to me, but
It's likely not a huge part of your work.
yeah. I probably would recognize it as the statue of a powerful Pokemon. Probably one of the gods. Like one of the mystical gods.
Yep. It's not a big statue, mind you. It's a small one, relatively speaking. O guiding Lord, look deep beneath the earth. I have done as you asked. I sought out the veins of gold you told me in my dreams. We prosper here at your grace. May we prosper evermore. Please. Another sign. Where can I find the next veins of gold? I promise I will silence the heartbeat of that demon for you. And then perhaps you will earn the forgiveness you deserve. As I fail to remember his accent.
I like it.
I kind of wanted to have a very thick French accent.
You
Or
may
British.
imagine him with a thick French accent.
Not French, British. Very thick British
Just say-
accent. Like,
yes.
yeah.
Sorry, I just failed to do it. I apologize.
Very thick British accent. So that's one reason you might want a secret cellar, so that you can commune with Pokemon Satan over the location of gold.
Giratina did nothing wrong.
That such a thing would have a price, of course.
As all things do. After all, what is Rida doing, if not paying prices?
Well, that'd be one way to... That's something where he would probably never leave if they knew there was like going down here. Or they'd leave and come back with a team of like Metants or something that could really dig good.
Well, that explains that lantern.
It does. And in fact, Ralph, there are several others of those lanterns here, but in this vision, they're lit. How long do you contemplate this before you do something?
Maybe a minute or two. But I'm gonna touch, question mark, if it's there, the statue.
You touch the statue, and like a candle snuffed out in the breeze, the vision vanishes. The statue remains. In fact, much of what's in here remains.
Interesting.
Still decrepit and damaged.
I think I'm gonna talk to it. So, hello, statue, or whatever being this statue is meant to be connected to. Are you still there? He kind of like kicks, he kind of like bobs his head, not sure what to say. Basically, new magic statue. Who dis?
Hey, darkest god in all of Pokemon, you there?
I'm just like imagining like how this usually requires like a ritual. You gotta set things up, say the right words. Meanwhile, Ralph's just like acting like the hey home, what's up? Like you there? Like,
you imagine Giratina's like doing some dark, godly dark thing, and all of a sudden, like Ralph's voice comes on like over an intercom. Like he's making a dark pact with someone, and Ralph's voice interrupts it over an intercom.
So you talk to the statue, and it doesn't really respond. Minutes pass.
I wonder if I'll be cursed if I take it away from the altar. I'm gonna do so as I explore the cavern and see if I feel any more cursed.
Okay. You've acquired a fairly sizable Giratina statue made of gold.
I mean, if nothing else, fucking what's-his-face's eyes will bulge out of his head. These.
I wonder if Kafagrigas came from here.
You know Kafagrigas evolves from Yamask, right?
oh no! Wait, hold on. I know BMS's backstory.
Yeah. Yamask. The only more fucked up Pokedex entry is Driftlands.
What about
Anyway.
that Stump Ghost one?
You
Shit.
You've reached a dead end, Ralph.
Hmm.
Ominous.
Ominous indeed. I could be surrounded by gold and I wouldn't even know it. How about it? What do you say, statue? I'm gonna turn around over the other way.
You turn around. There's nothing but rock wall.
Hmm. I must be going crazy asking a statue for help. The only thing crazier than that would be, I don't know, asking a spiral shell for help. Anyway, I'm gonna let's see here. Let's reach out and touch it, see if it's there.
It's solid.
Hmm.
In fact, it almost looks like a cave-in.
Mute. Starting to actually get worried now. Like he was doing his best to play it off cool, but now he's actually kind of worried as he douses everything in his bag to have his hands free. You. Now I'm in a pickle. Let's see. Call for help. The vibrations of my voice might cause more rubble to fall.
Sure, it's a shame you can't select psychic.
I mean, I have.
Because, yeah, being able to select psychic and just roulette for teleport would be nice right about now, wouldn't it?
Indeed. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't learned that one yet. I do have psychic itself. Let's see. He's like rolling the possibilities that if I throw out an attack, who knows what'll happen. Strong, but I'm not strong enough to lift up however much earth is on top of me.
Oh wait, did you actually get caved in on top of?
No.
Oh, okay.
Via the weirdness of the abode, he somehow made it into a chamber that has long since been sealed off.
Oh, my mistake. I didn't catch the warping.
I have a suspicion, but I won't say anything yet.
Let's see. Cell fragments, mainframe survivor seed.
Have you taken a good look around the room already? Make sure it's just one caved-in entrance.
Yeah, first I'll make sure there's no other entrances or exits.
As you look around, you note that there are some documents that have been left behind.
Oh, Lord.
Most of it's very faded, but what's intact seems to be notes, mainly on rituals of contact and, well, basic things, actually. One of the most intact pages is a ritual on, well, foresight via dreams.
Yeah, whoever lived here was really into this mumbo jumbo, weren't they?
Is it mumbo jumbo if it worked?
I guess not. It's just jumbo.
I just call it mumbo jumbo after already seeing some ghosts and stuff. Like,
I mean, ghost types are a thing.
yeah, that's true.
Another of the intact documents draws comparisons to Zygarde, the long-absent lord of the earth, and Giratina, the Forsaken. Honestly, the documents of that nature to Ralph probably seem like pseudo-theoscientific ridiculousness.
Hmm.
You have seen legendaries and you know they can be punched.
Yeah, and they can be hit on the head with a big old hammer.
In some circumstances, that's the most important detail, I suppose.
Ooh. Let's see, am I truly alone? I'm gonna call out. So, are you still following me, Giggles?
No answer. At least not from Giggles.
So I'm looking at the documents and back at the statue. So you must be Giratina. Yes, it's somewhat coming to me. Yeah, you'll forgive me if I've only seen a few, like, fairy tale specials on TV about you. Mind if I call you Gary? I'm going crazy, Gary.
So, as you're starting to go mildly insane with the statue of Pokemon Devil, there's a knock from the other side of the caved-in portion of the tunnel, to the tune of shave and a haircut.
Yeah, I'm gonna time loop. I'm gonna call out to it as loudly as I think will not cause more cave-in. Saying that I'm in here. Help me out and please don't be hostile.
Oh, that's not how that goes. And the knock goes on again. Da 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 da.
Oh, man. There's like a and a knock on the rock. No.
And then, just in the most ridiculous fashion, not fitting of your situation whatsoever, the Esper, just with explosive psychic power, shoves all the rocks out of the way into the rest of the rock wall, which may be potentially really destabilizing things. And they must think that they're doing that neat knee slide right in front of you, but they're just psychically gliding just above the floor at an even pace until they reach like a foot in front of you, and they look up at you and go, 2 bits. And then they hold out a paw.
Okay, I'll give them 2 giblets. Let's see here.
We're just doing a transaction. Like, thank you for opening the door. I have these 2 things.
Oh no!
Oh, you just obliterated the...
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, sorry. I hit Control Z like a fool!
Uh-oh. I don't know what that has changed. You will have to observe the table.
The only thing it changed is Ralph still...
Yeah, Ralph moving the things.
I'll put the music back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Sorry
is such
about
a
that,
dangerous key. It really should have a prompt. Like, are you sure? Like, yeah.
Where were we? Oh yeah, 13.
Oh, alright, Esper, you can stand there if you want.
But yes, Esper takes the bits. Okay, back to hide and go take. And they just pat out. And you can see the rocks are starting to shake as they leave.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly follow him.
Wait, did you give 2 money for that? 2 money?
Yeah,
Yes.
I did.
No, that's a bargain for opening a
2
cave.
bits.
They, They literally took it as 2 bits.
Nice.
Oh, I see. I get it. I get it.
I shall follow them.
And you follow Esper out. And you find yourself not in the cellar.
I'm gonna directly ask them if they're the same one. So, are you the same one that put us in that box?
You are answered by them generating a box and popping out Brooke's lamp.
That's an interesting way to respond.
That's a neat lamp.
Uh-huh. I am playing hide and go take.
Ooh, neat. Got a good hiding spot?
They look around. Somehow you have found yourselves out on the terrace. Oh. I have gone in a circle. And they just...
Oh, I do that all the time.
They look at Ralph and the gold statue that you've got. Take trade?
Oh, the gold statue. He would be so sad.
Oh.
You want
Okay.
how about this? I will show him the signing.
Are you sure?
Oh, the
Yeah.
life orb?
A life
Yeah.
orb.
Yeah,
They look at it. They
it
look
packs
at...
it packs a punch, but it packs a bit of recoil. It's also shiny.
They look at it. They seem to really think about it. And then they just sit the lamp on top of their head. No, this has mini orb. Thank you, though. And just pat it, pat it, pat it, pat it as they start going down the right end of the hall this time, leaving you on the terrace. So, Brooke.
Yeah.
So, you come to the door, and you hear a fairly distant knock on the other side, to the tune of shave and a haircut.
I have infected the ghost. Well, they're not really a ghost, but
I'm just gonna open the door.
Oh, such a shame. Time loop broken.
No bit.
You open the door, and you find yourself coming out of the closet in what looks to have once been a child's room. The bed is relatively small. There's a little fanciful dresser there, but everything here looks better preserved than the rest of the house. And in fact, there is a candle there that's on top of the little dresser that's lit with a blue, ghostly flame that does not melt the candle.
It's about time Brooke came out of the closet.
Sorry for the interruption. I just couldn't help myself.
Unintentional.
I would like to look at the candle.
It looks like a relatively standard candle. It's in a little, like, brass holder. You know, the old-timey one that's basically just, like, a dish with a place for the candle to be set into and a little curled handle. It's a tall, waxen candle. Just regular colored candle. It's just that the flame is blue. It sheds a soft light. Scales looks more solid under its light. In fact, they slide off your shoulder and bounce a little bit on the bed. Not that it does anything on the bed.
Well, it's not my lamp, but maybe it'll work for now. And Brooke will take it with him.
You move and take the candle, causing a lengthy creak from old floorboards. And in fact, one almost gives way under you. When you lift your foot away from it, the board pulls back, and the light of the candle reveals something gleaming beneath the floorboard.
I shall ignore it and move on. No, I'm going to look at it.
Oh, you nearly had me. Scales hops down to peer at it, but doesn't seem able to interact with physical objects, really. But if you peel back the floorboard, inside is a little tin. Just a little cracker tin. Square, embossed with some image or other that's been mildly destroyed by time.
I shall take a look inside of it.
So, I have a question for everyone, chat included. What do you think would be a treasure for a young Pokemon?
A really cool rock.
Cool stick.
Maybe a toy given to them by someone special.
A golden acorn.
I mean,
Well-
alternatively, it could be a plush/doll.
Alright, well, inside this tin are a little wooden toy mallet and chisel. The kind that sculptors use, just sized down for a kid. There's also a couple of shiny little rocks, a few marbles, a pair of thick old coins, and underneath all of that, a little folded up drawing. It's a drawing of a family. Crude and done by a child, clearly. In the middle is a Scraggy, kind of. At least from what you've seen, it must be them. Holding the hand of a little black doll with yellow eyes and a yellow mouth. And on either side of that pair is a Scrafty with big mustache. It, like, comically huge mustache, of course. And a very tall, lengthy Sneasel that has sparkles all around it drawn in. And there's names. Mom, Dad, me, Mr. Bags.
Mr. Bags.
Actually, given earlier, wouldn't they probably write Papa and Mama? Or is it actually Mom and Dad?
It probably is Mom and Papa, sorry.
It's okay.
Mama, Papa.
Brooke will mutter Mr. Bags out loud, just to make sure he remembers the name. because it seems important with the visions he's seen.
You gotta say it 3 times.
Make sure it's in a mirror. You have to face a mirror too.
Right. I don't think there's a mirror in this room.
There isn't. In fact, you haven't seen a mirror at all.
Ooh, interesting. I will take the box with me.
Add to cart. Child's treasure box.
Let's go, Scales. And Brooke will exit the room.
Scales hesitates, but follows, looking worried again. The house creaks and groans as you open the door, and you find yourself on the second floor hall, face to face with an oncoming Esper wearing your lamp as a hat.
Can I... This is going to be another athletics check, isn't it?
How do you want to try and catch them?
Freeze them.
I'm going to water gun the lamp.
It's like it's a bit of a reflex check here if you're just like suddenly seeing them bringing at you, but hopefully you have time to react.
Special fight channel. What was that? 4. Yeah, that's 10.
Lots of dice.
Ooh.
Lots of dice.
Very nice. We've been on point with the rolls today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brooke, you ding the lamp on the sturdier upper portion of its frame so that you don't accidentally smash it. And it falls from the Esper's head. They stop, look up at you, like half turn, look back at the lamp. Ah. Okay. It is your turn. And they make another box and go. And hold out what looks like a wrapped present. And now
Brooke will...
you hide and I will go take.
Right. Brooke will take the package.
Okay, I will count now. And they just turn around and just start pitter-patter down the hall, while counting to themselves. 1 is mine. 2 is mine. 3 is mine. 4 is mine.
Brooke just kind of rubs his head and shrugs. All right. Then he'll put away his lamp. And I guess keep looking around.
Hey, Ralph. The Esper has suddenly passed your vision again and is walking the other way, counting. Dear gods, Esper has full ownership of all math. They are too powerful.
I would say the Esper's in their own little world, but I mean they have the box world, so it kind of.
Yeah.
To clarify, I think Brooke went the other direction.
Brooke turned down the hall instead of following.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I have a question for Tubby actually.
Yeah.
Since that Esper basically referred to was the Esper that we had encountered before, was there any reaction that Ralph had for that? Because he seemed pretty blasé about it.
I hadn't thought about it because I kind of like it was kind of suspected, but I don't know.
That's fair. I'm just noting that this Esper caused the village problems and stuff, so like we gotta consider them a weird threat. But then again, Ralph always looks at things a bit differently than the rest of the party, so I have no idea what Ralph's reaction would actually be.
I guess just knowing it, and it helps him know that he's not fucking completely losing his mind.
Oh, that's true. It's a tangible element. It is a tangible element, I suppose, right? Like, I know this character. Like,
yeah, so I'm not completely losing my mind. It's just being fucked with.
That's fair. Oh, of course, it makes sense to work with the Esper a little bit if they're getting you out of the cave-in, but
yeah, I tried to portray it such that Ralph's demeanor really was starting to crack. Trapped in the tiny space. Yeah,
okay. Is any of this actually real?
Yeah, like the sanity was starting to slip of like, oh god, I really am trapped in this tiny space.
Yeah, it wasn't just
trying my best. Yeah, it wasn't like I am trying my best to joke about this and make myself smile, but I really am, and I don't know if I portrayed that well.
I wasn't 100% sure. I wasn't 100% sure. That's why I asked for the vibe check. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Like, when he was trapped in that little cave-in, like, he really was afraid, like,
right.
Oh shit, like, this is serious.
They've got a little bit of claustrophobia, too.
Yes. And now... here we go. We can now go down to number 58 on the music.
For the same page?
Yes.
Okay.
Finally going back to B music.
Mm-hmm.
As we are starting to close out.
True. We haven't, let's see, I think the rest of the group was always, were they also inside? I think they were originally.
They came with you. They just formed a group of their own.
Yeah, a little group of their own.
To do some, like, exploratory looting. You just haven't seen them.
Obviously, yeah. Yes, this one.
So, Ralph, you're currently out on the terrace. Would you like to try going anywhere?
You might have stepped away again.
Okay. Well then, I will move on to Brooke. So, Brooke, you go down the hall, and you find yourself passing through some sort of antechamber. Like before, your vision flickers a bit. It shows off plants. Well-tended ones, albeit potted, almost overgrowing the space. And when it flickers back to reality, it shows they really have begun overgrowing this section. Vines and foliage just covering the walls in this little section. But they don't leave it. Almost like they're forbidden from going through the doorways. Doorless doorways. You hear a familiar V groan. Why is this place a maze?
Brooke will follow the groaning.
You follow the groaning and you find V flopped over on the floor by themselves, looking incredibly disappointed.
Need any help there, boss?
Did you find a chest full of gold?
Not so much.
Me neither.
All I've found so far are weird visions and strange hallways.
Oh, good, they say, widening their eyes with a, Rye... Is Rye even the right word for the smile? Angry smile?
Incredulous smile?
Angry, incredulous smile. Oh, good! It's not just me going crazy, and it's not just the fact that I get separated from everyone else.
No, I think something might be actively separating us.
Oh, gee, it's almost like I hired you guys for a very good reason. Old abandoned estate. Clearly it's gonna be haunted. I'm not stupid. As they pick themselves up and, like, shake the dust off.
I admit I haven't seen any ghosts yet, but I have seen an Esper.
Oh, that thing? Yeah, I saw it a while ago, too.
It tried to steal my lamp.
Huh. I just told it we should play hide-and-go-seek. And then it went away.
Brooke will just kind of stare at him. Right.
I'm lucky it didn't take my... They stop. They're missing a bag. Where is my bag? Rotten little... I had all my loot!
Brooke will look at his shoulder and say, well, do you know where the Esper went now?
Scales seems to consider. V looks at you strangely. Are you sure you're okay, Brooke?
Brooke will just kind of hold a finger up. 1 second.
Scales taps their chin. They point through the overgrown section of hall. I mean, you're in it now, but, like, out of it, across.
Well, I think we should go this way then.
Okay. You haven't been, like, possessed or anything, have you? You know you have to tell me if you are. That's the rules.
Is it?
Yes.
Brooke will just kind of smile and then walk away.
You're gonna tell me if you're possessed, right?
It's probably
Right?
Yola for possession.
And we'll end off with V running after Brooke, now thoroughly unburdened from their heavy looting of this old place.
So did V tell Esper, let's play hide and seek, just so Esper went away and stopped bothering him?
Yep.
Yep.
V did not realize that Esper was playing hide and go take, so they decided to take. I think that will be the end of this session.
Lovely.
Stop
I'm
the
having
start
so
game.
much fun right now.
So, next time, we'll see how you all deal with the residents of the derelict estate.
Mhm.
Everybody gets... Let's see, Ralph defeated the Poltergeist, so everybody gets 4 experience.
Ooh.
Right, Ralph, you get an extra one. I forget
Yeah,
why.
because I
but
knocked.
Yeah, because you knocked.
Because I physically knocked.
How much XP was that?
4 for everyone.
Okay. Also, at some point I ripped this out of one bag, but I forget where these were. Where were these? I actually ripped these out of the bag at some point. Where were these stored? I don't remember.
Oh, I think... Not excuse storage.
The inside of the gallantry.
Yeah, the gallantries thing.
I think they were put in either an efficiency bag or like... Oh, trash other, maybe?
It's possible. Yeah, that could be there. Just want to make sure I put them somewhere else again. I mean, that's a fine enough place.
Well, this is a chonker of a Tucker.
Oh yeah.
You said 4 experience?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You just... Yeah, that's been on the table for, like, since last session, actually. Speaking of which, I forgot to do... Was there art to even do today?
I don't believe so.
I believe there was no new art. Yeah, I don't believe there's any new art, so that's probably... Yeah, good. But, yeah, it's a good chonker. And Puppy, by the way, if you notice.
Yeah. That's slightly less fat puppy.
Yeah.
Possession
But
of science
comfy.
tents of the lobby.
What's that? Oh. Yeah, I see it now. I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's session.
Oh, dude, I loved it.
This was fun. I'm glad I worked through a little bit of personal trouble just to do the session. I wasn't feeling very good, but indeed, the session's always going to be some positivity. So thank you, everyone on the table, for that, honestly.
I honestly considered offering to avoid interacting with Tucker too much if you wanted it that way, but I'm glad I did not.
Tucker was completely fine to play. It was more just me. But I am indeed doing a bit better. Not 100%, but it was a good session. It actually helped me chill out. Spooky things are just fun for me too, so like, yeah. It's kind of my element.
Made a new friend.
I've wrote
a pair of new friends, even.
Yes, I've wrote myself a couple notes when we get back to that, because I need to make sure to do a couple things. Well, I may as well ask right now, because it's relevant. Was Rya, and Hydra, you can answer this, obviously. Was Rya aware of the Esper situation? I don't remember when the orb scrying was being done and when it wasn't, so...
Wasn't that...
I'm not sure, because it's basically started scrying after the whole Tiber incident.
I believe that happened after Tiber.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Well, in that case, they would know of it happening, but they wouldn't know the specifics of what happened in the cube.
Yeah, I imagine whatever the orb can do, it probably can't see in there.
Wait, I remember you asking me at one point if Rya would know what happened in the cube, and I said no, because it was an other dimensional space.
Right, that makes sense. Well, don't worry, I made a note that Tucker will fill Rya in later, so...
Also, to clarify, we didn't actually get what aspect we were being warned about when Tucker touched it, right?
True.
Nope.
Oh, that was the other thing I need to write down. Thank you.
Probably also important that someone...
What was that, Hydra?
I was also going to mention that it's probably also important that someone calls the Bonnet Mr. Bags at some point.
Yeah, I'm
just
preparing to do that.
But as it stands, he just seems like an unhinged Pokemon that wants his stuff back, and we're just sort of caught in the crossfire of whatever the hell's going on.
Yeah, current impression, like, Tucker's on guard, but ghost types be ghosting, you know? Like, they this one doesn't seem necessarily hostile. Seems interested in making a deal with what Rita said, so...
Most ghost types are.
Yeah.
So
We'll see how that turns out. Next session 134. Thanks for staying up. I know you got a bit late here, Kyrio. Thanks for staying up for this.
No problem.
And but yeah, I hope everybody had a good time. It sounds like we did. But yeah, next session should be in 2 weeks, unless anything's coming up for anybody. Which I don't think is happening.
I think I'm fine.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I don't
plan
think so.
that far ahead.
That's fair.
It's
That's also
Yeah,
fair.
I don't know that far ahead either because
But chances
my
are I
boss
won't
doesn't-
be
yeah.
occupied.
Yeah, we'll obviously communicate if there's any delays, but we should
Yeah.
be good. So, thank you, Car, for giving us a little Halloween session too, which is a good introduction.
It's not done yet.
Yeah, we're nowhere near done. We can't complete a whole Halloween event in one session. That'd be insane. We'd have to like marathon.
Oh, it's possible. I just drag things out because that's the way I run.
Well, listen, ambience, man. It's fine.
I've enjoyed a lot of it, to be honest,
Yeah.
so never change.
I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Agree.
That's the main thing, that you guys enjoy it.
But with that being said, table, I guess for the YouTube video, I will say, I hope everyone has a good night, enjoyed the session, and we will be back in another 2 weeks for the continued ghostly and Espery adventures that will transpire. Don't worry, Halloween ain't gonna end just yet. Come back, what day was that? November 6th, it will continue. I'll see y'all then, and thank you very much for attending.
bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.